Hello class, in this video we'll build the first level for our shooter game. Here you'll go to Blackboard and go to today's lesson. So we're going to start our first person shooter game series and you're going to download the project file. So basically for this link I already imported the standard assets which include the vehicle, the first person controller and the third person controller, right? And go to here and then you can just download the file. Once you have downloaded the file, here you're going to unzip it. So you're going to have the project folder. So here I'm going to rename the project folder to first person shooter game, right? So rename our project and then we'll go to this folder and go to its assets, go to the scenes, and we have our sample scene and you can just double click it to open. So you're going to open Unity Hub and check if your file showing up here. If not, and then you may just need to double click again. Okay, here we go. It takes a few times to make it show up. Here, as you can see, we have the characters here, and we also have the vehicle pack here. Alright, so that's the standard assets. Alright, so we'll go to our scenes folder, and here we're going to create a new scene. So we can go right click and create new scene. So for this one, we're going to name it scene 1, and we'll double click to open it. So now we are at scene 1. Okay. Here we can go to game object and 3D object, and I'm going to create a plane. And make sure to select the plane and press F key so you can focus the view on it. And as you can see, the lights is a little bit dark, it's not realistic. So I'm going to go to the window, rendering, lighting. And here for the lighting, I'll just click on generate lighting. So you're going to take a few seconds to generate, and then it turned our lights to normal. So we have a white plane. Okay, so here we're going to build our first level. So I want you to note the assets. Here, let me show you. So if you on Blackboard, if you go to the link I provided to download the models and textures, you will have these two groups of models. Okay, so for the first scene, we're going to use the science fiction models here. Okay, so we're going to go to the project, click on the assets, and here we're going to right click and create a new folder, and we're going to name it 01 models. The reason why I put 01 is because later on we're going to have a lot of folders, and some of the folders is created by default or by other assets. And if we have a tag 01, so we know these folders are created by ourselves and we have our personal assets inside it. Alright, so here I'm going to go to the models folder and I'm going to grab the science fiction models in here. And if we pump up this window, see the normal map has some issue, just click on fix now. Okay, so here, let's see. We have our container. Okay, so we can drop in our container. And as you can see, it's the model, it doesn't have the texture. So the texture is here. So we can right click and create a new material. And you can see container. This is 2, the second one. So I'll say container 2M for material. And then I'll drop the normal map to here, albedo channel. Diffuse map onto the albedo channel, and the normal map 2 is normal map channel, and fix the normal map issue, and then we can drop our normal map onto the container. So here's our model. Okay, and we can see this is a big and let's go to our standard assets, and let's go to the first person character and go to the prefabs and drop in the FPS controller into the scene and press F key to focus your view on this character, and we can bring it up so we can see our character. Okay, so we can compare the size, right? And we can test play, but before you do that, because our first-person controller already has a character, already has a camera, so this is the camera. Okay, so we can select the main camera and disable it. We don't need the default main camera, and we can test play and see how it looks. Okay, so right now we are standing on this white plane, and we'll be able to see through the container. We'll fix that later. Alright, and then what I want to do is I want to go create a new 3D object, a cube. And for this cube, I want to set its height as 1.7. So that is 1.7 meter. Okay, so that will be the height for our player. So basically we can use this cube as a reference for level design. So we can select it and then hold on Command. If you're on Mac computer, hold on Command. If you're on Windows, hold on Control. So you'll be able to select both of the objects, and as you can see, they are approximately at the same height, right? So we can disable our first-person controller for now, and we can just use this cube as a reference. Okay, so we'll go back to our models folder, and here we're going to create a new material, and name is red, and get the color as red color. Okay, and drop this material onto this cube so we can see it better. And then we can select this floor plan that we created earlier. Okay, we can go to the science fiction textures. So let's see, metal floor. We have wall texture, and we have ceiling texture. So we're going to create a material for the floor. So here we're going to see, copy this word, and then we're going to create a material, say metal floor 1M for material. Okay, and then we're going to drop this diffuse map onto the diffuse channel, and normal map onto the normal channel, and drop the material onto the plane. So we can see now the planes are huge, so we get an idea about the scale. So here we can do 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, and we can compare if the size is good or not. Maybe still a little bit too big, so I can 0.05. Yeah, looks better. Okay, and one important thing is make sure create this plane by goes here, 3D object and plane, and by doing that your plane will have a mesh collider on it. So the mesh collider will hold your character from falling through it. So that is important. So make sure your plane has this mesh collider. And then I'm going to rename this one to floor tire. Okay, wait, I'm going to name it actually. Okay, I'm going to just copy here and paste it here. Metal floor. Okay, 1. So we know this is a metal floor because later on we're going to have other floor tires. So for this one, we're going to make a duplications. So we're going to hit Command D if you're on Mac computer, Command D, and if you're on Windows, use Control D to duplicate. And then we can move it out of this original floor tire, and then we would like to snap it onto it. So how to snap? You're going to hold down V key, hold down V, and then put your cursor on a different spot, and then see your pivot point of this object will stay on the corner, and then you can just grab it and you're going to snap to the original one, and then release your keyboard. Okay, so we got 2, and then I can select both of these 2 and Command D, make another duplication, move it out, and hold down VK and snap it. So you're going to repeat this process to build the entire floor tire. Now as you can see that I get so many duplications, right? So I can come here and organize this a little bit. So I'm gonna select the first one, press F key to focus my view on it, and then go to game object and create empty. And here I'm gonna say metal floor one group. Okay, and then I'm gonna select all of them except the cube. Okay, and then grab them into this folder, this empty object. So now it become my folder. So now I have this whole thing, right? And then I can make a duplication of this folder and move it out, and then hold on VK, and then I can snap it onto the original one. Okay, and then duplicate this two and move it out, hold on VK, and oops, and snap it to here. Now we have this whole floor for this room, and then we can do the same thing. Select the first one, hit F key, and then create empty, so we can see metal floor group file. Okay, and then we can select the whole thing and grab it into this folder. Here we go. So that is the floor, and we can test play. Okay, so this will be the room, and then we can come here. So here we also have the wall, the metal wall. Okay, so we can go to game object and create a plan, move it up, and here we can do this one, metal wall 2, and we're going to create a material, metal wall 2 M, and apply the textures. Okay, so for this one we're going to rotate in 90 degree. Oops, not this one. So let's see if we select it, hit EK for rotation and rotate it, so it's this direction. So we're going to get 90 degree for it, and then we're going to snap it onto the corner. And maybe this is a little bit too big, so we can try 0.5 X, Y, Z, and then snap it again. Okay, and then make a duplication and snap it. As you can see, it's hard to snap because we have the floor tires, so I'm going to hide this one. And also I'm going to rename this wall to metal wall 2, and here will be metal wall 1 because it's a duplication, right? And select it, hold on VK, oops, make sure you're in move tool, and then hold on VK and snap it, and then duplicate this 2 and snap it, and we'll duplicate all these 4 and make a duplication. Move it first and snap. There we go. And we can show our metal tire. So now you can see that I think we don't need these two because the floor is smaller. Okay, so we can just delete this one. So here I'm going to right click and delete. Okay, and then we're going to get it to this side. So we're going to select this one, Command D to make a duplication, and so here I'm going to rotate in this way, 90, and then WK for move, and I'm going to snap. So here maybe I would need a 3 to 4, so I'm going to do 4, place 4 on this side. So I'm going to duplicate this one, hide this one, and then move, snap, snap, and then select both these two, Command D to duplicate, and then snap. Then here you can see it doesn't match. So what I can do is I can select this one, container, and hide it, and hide these two as well, and going to go to the top view and select all of these tires on the side, right? And then I just going to hit Command D to make a duplication and move them. The beauty of doing this is, as you can see, it will duplicate the floor tire in each group, so we still have the group for for each row. All right, and then we're going to hold on VK and snap it back here, and see how many we would need. We will need 4 more, so we can Command D and just repeat this process to fill the gap. Command D again, here snap, Command D, and hold on VK to snap. One more. Alright, so now it should match perfectly. Okay, and for this side, what we're going to do is get a lot of stuff. Okay, we're going to select any of the tire here, so that will be this one, right? Here we're going to make a duplication, move it out, and then hold on V to snap it back. Okay, and we need 2 more. Duplicate, snap it here. One more, I think. Okay, and then perfectly. Okay, so for the other side, we can just duplicate. So this will be on this wall. So here we can select this one and create empty. Select this wall. Actually, we have to press F key so we can focus on it and create empty. And then we can drop all of the parts on this side into this new game object, and we can name it wall 1. Okay, and for here press F key and create a new empty object, and we're going to see wall 2, and we're going to place all of these inside here. Okay, so for wall 1 we're going to duplicate and we're going to rotate it. So we're going to rotate it in 180 degree along y-axis. It's okay if we just flip it to somewhere else, so we can just snap it back to here. Okay, and then for wall 2 we can also duplicate and move it to here, and we have to flip it 180 along y-axis. Okay, and I'll just hide the metal floor for now, and then I'll be able to snap it to the wall. Okay, Okay, so now we have our base level set up, and then we can show these objects. Okay, and we can put container, first the container to here. Okay, and as you can see, for the container, it doesn't have a mesh collider, so we're going to add a component, and we're going to add a mesh collider. Okay, and then we're gonna make a duplication and move it to the other side. Right, and then we can drop in our other models. So if we go to the models, and we also have a container 3, okay, we can drop it in here. And first, let's get a mesh collider for it. And then second, let's create a material for it. So this is container 3. So we're going to create a material and then apply the textures and fix the normal map and drop the material onto it. So we can place it anywhere you want. Okay, and then get the container 3B. So this one is a little bit different. As you can see, as I drop it in, I get this a small triangle. So that means this is a folder and the actual mesh is inside here. Okay, it's different than the previous one. So the previous one, these are the mesh, and this is the folder, and here are the mesh. So to create the mesh collider, you have to select the mesh, these two, and then come here and add component and add a mesh collider. Okay, and same thing for apply materials. Let me show you. So for this one, it'll be the fence. So I'm going to create a material and fence M for material and drop the texture onto it. Oops, sorry. So mechanic, I want to leave it empty and normal map here. And as you can see, it has two different parts, right? It has two meshes. So this material is supposed to stay in here, and here should be here. So got to create a material B body M, and this is for the body, and we're going to apply the textures and apply the material. Here we go. Alright, so the difference is this one, it has two meshes, and each mesh has a different texture. So we can select this one and we can rotate in 90 degree, maybe more, maybe 180, and place it somewhere. Okay, and then we also have our iron cage, and here we're going to drop in this one, which is iron cage 2. And if you go to the animation tab, go down below here, it has animation, right? So we're going to have this one, we're going to drop it in here, and right now it doesn't have texture, so we can just create a material for it. So here we're going to see iron cage 1M, and drop the texture onto it. Alright, so here we go. So we're gonna select, we're gonna move it to the side. And remember, we'll have to select all of these. Okay, all of these are 3 under the arrow cage. The joint is another thing I'm going to explain later. So select all of these are 3 and add a component mesh collider. And let's see, this one I have added the mesh collider. Okay, so just to double check, make sure everything has a mesh collider. Okay, so now we can test the play. So if I test play, and this is how it looks for now. Then here we can duplicate all these 4 walls, make a duplication and move them up. And then we can hold the VK to snap it back on here, so we have higher wall. Okay, and then we can make a door at here. Okay, so we're going to create a new cube. So this one I'm going to name it metal door. Okay, and I'm going to go to the textures and going to copy here. So I'm going to create a new material, say metal door 2M for material, and I'm going to drop the textures onto it. Oops, not Metanic. Normal map for normal map channel, and drag the material onto it. Here we go, and we can change the shape of it. So basically for scale X, I want to do maybe 3, and for Y, for Z, let's make it 0.25 too thick, so 0.2, 0.1 looks good. Okay, and then for the height, let's say 3. Okay, so 3 looks good. And then we can delete this one, so we can just select this one and right click and delete. So we have our door open, and now we know the scale references, so we're going to place it here. And for the height, we might want to do 5. Okay, 5 is good. And for the width, yeah, 5 is good. Then we'll create the ceiling. Okay, so here we also going to let's see, create a plan. So we're going to go to the game object and 3D object and create a plan. So we can move it up. And here, let's say for the wall, we did a scale as 5.5. So here we're also going to make it 5.5 XYZ. Okay, and we'll look for a texture, so that will be here. We'll create the material, ceiling 1M, and then we're going to add the texture. Okay, and we're going to drop the texture onto it. Okay, so here we can snap it, and then make a duplication. Oops, before I duplicate, actually I'm going to rename this one to ceiling 1, right? And I'm going to make a duplication and snap. Okay, and select both of them and snap. Okay, and I don't need this one, so I just delete it. Right, and then select all of them. Here I can select the first one. Maybe I'll just put it in a group. So ceiling 1 group, and then put them in a group, and then make a duplication, move it out. Well, I will hide all the other objects in the scene. Okay, and then here I can snap it to here. Okay, and then make a duplication and snap, and duplicate one more time and snap. Okay, so now if I show all the wall, I can see, well, these two are extras, so I can just delete them. Oops. That will be this one and this one. Okay, so here we go. So now we have our ceiling, and we'll have to flip it because right now we haven't applied the double-sided mesh onto it. So gonna select the first one and game object, create empty, and metal ceiling one group phyllo, and put all of them in here. Okay, and then I'm going to, let's see, which axis should I rotate? Okay, this axis. So I'm going to put 180. Okay, so you're going to disappear because we are on the opposite side, and then we can snap it to the corner of the wall. So now if we are inside of the room, we should be able to see it. Okay, so the lighting might look weird for now. It's because of the double-sided mesh issue, so I'm going to explain this later. So here, what I'm going to do is first show all of them. Okay, and see if I select the direction light, turn it off, and it will not affect the lighting here. And then I can focus on my cube here, and then I can go here and create the lights. And here we can create a point light. Okay, and you may place it on the ceiling. So one point light here, press F key to focus on it. And then here you can also create a spotlight. Okay, so spotlight will aim down, and you can make it cover a bigger space, increase the range until you see the lights. So here maybe I'll do about 60. Okay, and I'm gonna set the color a little bit like light bluish color. Here we go, light bluish color. Okay, and for the spotlight, you can also, point light, you can also do a light bluish color. Right, and then you can select both of these two and focus on it first. Select both of these two and then create a new empty object. And here I'm gonna see light 1, and I'm going to move them into the light 1 folder. So we have one light, and you can make a duplication and place it on another spot. Okay, and here one more. And for the door, you can also place a light here, and you can search Google, find the exit sign, and you can place it here and place a light here. So he will know this is the door. So here, if I test play, let's see how it looks. So we have our room, this environment, and we have the light. Okay, so this will be the first level of our game, and in the future video I'm going to add a gun, and we're going to shoot objects.